Some atheists, neo-pagans, and Christians have claimed that Easter is merely a pagan seasonal festival which was assimilated into Christianity by Catholicism and given a new narrative. But how true is this claim? Is Easter really a pagan festival co-opted by the Catholic Church? Hi, this is Ryan Zell of the Zell Challenge channel. Is the word Easter truly of pagan origin, as some atheists, neo-pagans, and Christians claim? This is the question we will answer. As usual, it is best to ask Catholics who, due to their 2,000-year-old tradition and learning, might know the answers to such ludicrous questions. Most Protestants, on the other hand, tend to invent a tradition unknowingly due to speculative musings due to their having arrived on the scene only 500 years ago. Much of the history was written by the clergy of the Catholic Church, as it was these persons who were educated and could read and write. It is these persons who preserved much of the Western literature and history by copying and recopying the works of the ancients in an effort to preserve these for future generations. Before we get started, no, Catholics did not name Easter after a pagan deity. Protestants, having no traditional understanding, divorced from sacred tradition, which many Protestants eschew, picked up the Protestant lie, painting Catholicism as being of pagan origin. After all, according to these uneducated illiterates, Protestants broke from Western Catholicism because Protestants considered Catholicism pagan. Atheists picked up on the illogical claims of the Protestants, apply similar logic, ergo, Protestants are pagans too because they celebrate Easter, a classic case of being hung by your own petard. Jews, Catholics, and the Orthodox use the same word, Pascha, for almost 2,000 years to mean what in English is known as Easter. Pascha is a liturgical season, which in turn is derived from the Hebrew word Pasch, meaning Passover. It is of Jewish origin, not of pagan origin. All official Catholic communiques, including the Catholic Catechism, use Pascha in its derivatives, not Easter. Almost all European languages, apart from English and German, use the word Pascha or a derivative to mean Easter. The remaining languages, those of Slavic origin, have a liturgically descriptive name for the liturgical season of Easter. But where then did the word Easter come from? The English language. To begin, one requires some knowledge of the linguistic parentage of the English language. English is considered a member of the Indo-European language group. There is theoretical speculation that all languages of the Indo-European group originated from one hypothetical language named Proto-Indo-European, which is simply referred to as PIE, P-I-E. The Germanic barbarian tribes brought with them their own Germanic language, which gave rise to the languages in the Germanic language group, which includes contemporary English. English owes its parentage to the West Germanic tribes and the West Saxon dialect of Old English. Rather than the High German from which the German language was derived from, English owes its origin to Low German spoken by the common people. For this reason, much of the vulgar, as in common, vocabulary in common usage, is of Germanic origin, while the more courtly vocabulary of the English language is derived from Latin and French. Let's explore where the word Easter comes from. The word Easter is the name of the month, which roughly corresponds to April in a modern calendar. In High German, use the word Ostar to mean the month of April. In Low German, they use the word Easter, Ostar, to mean the month of April. West Saxon used the word Easter to mean the month of April. Today, while the month is referred to as April in both German and English, Ostar and Easter is used to refer to the liturgical season in German and English respectively, which Catholics refer to as Pasch. Due to common usage, English-speaking Catholics have begun to use Easter instead of the Pasch. During which month does Easter usually fall? The frequency of Easter Sunday occurring in the month of April is 75%. The name of the month leads to its name in the liturgical season in German and English. the goddess Istra, or Iastra. There is only one single historical source for the existence of a deity named Istra, and that is the Catholic saint the Venerable Bede, and the first to write a history of the English people, and is considered the father of English history. According to Venerable Bede, the Saxon people had named the months after their deities. The month of Easter is named after this deity, during which month a festival was celebrated in her honor by the pagan Saxon people. When the Saxons converted to Christianity, they no longer celebrated the festival of the goddess, but rather the Paschal season. Since Pascha season usually began in the month of Easter, Easter in the German and English lent the name of the month to the liturgical season. Nothing is known about Easter apart from her festival being celebrated in the month of April, and the month of Easter is named after her. That is the absolute sum totality of the historical record known by this deity. Due to the German people having lost any connection to such a goddess, if there ever was one, there was much skepticism in Germany regarding Venerable Bede's claim that he was the sole source for the existence for such a deity. No single German writing mentioned a goddess by this name. However, there is no basis to dismiss Venerable Bede's written history solely on the basis that no one mentioned this deity by name. Enter Jacob Grimm of the Grimm's Brothers fame. He was a linguist and narrator of fairy tales. Jacob Grimm, drawing on his knowledge of Germanic dialects and mythos, speculated that there was perhaps a Germanic deity named Ostar sometime in the past who lent her name to the German month of Ostar, in the same manner as appears to have been the case for the Saxons. Grimm arrived at the same name through language reconstruction, and not by any direct evidence, and proposed the name Ostera based on his hypothesis. To summarize, Easter is not named after a pagan goddess, but rather named after the month of April, which was known as Ustar or Easter, depending on the German dialect. The month Ostar is likely named after a pagan deity. Likewise, the month Easter is very likely named after a pagan deity who perhaps is the same deity. The neo-pagan phenomena, which has a knack of inventing customs and traditions never before known in the annals of history, soon adopted the hypothetical goddess proposed by Jacob Grimm as one of their own. Neo-pagans have made Ustir as one of their spring seasonal deities they celebrate when Christians celebrate Easter. Given neo-paganism's need to attempt to syncretically integrate into Western culture, which is Christian, it should not be surprising that neo-pagan art and literature concoct narrations involving Ostir with rabbits and eggs in an attempt to give the newly minted myth some veneer of authenticity. What about Ishtar? As we will see, there is no connection to Easter. This idiocy was begun by an American Protestants who said that Catholics named Easter after a Babylonian goddess named Ishtar. After all, Catholicism is the great whore of Babylon according to Calvin's commentary in the King James Version and the Geneva Bibles. So it is not surprising that Easter was named after Ishtar. Perhaps these half-wits have not read the King James Version or the Geneva Bible, as the word Easter appears in both of these Bibles. You Protestants and you un-Protestant Protestants who hold on to this fallacy, please turn your Bibles to Acts 12:4 and read very carefully. The word Easter is found in both the King James Version and the Geneva Bible. Ishtar was the Babylonian and Akkadian deity associated with love and identified with the Sumerian deity Iana. Due to cultural, linguistic, geographical, and time separation between the Germanic people and the Akkadians, Assyrians, Babylonians, and the Sumerians, no prevailing intermediate mediating culture or transfer knowledge of such a deity, the claim that Easter was named after Ishtar fails the reasonableness test. The basis of such speculation is based purely on the similarity of the names where the claimant commits the phonetic fallacy. Many who know this claim to be a fallacy, nevertheless, use this claim to attempt to sow confusion among those who do not know. We suggest you always ask a Catholic. Due to Catholicism's long history and the monks and priests of the Catholic Church preserving ancient records and writing about the peoples they encountered, the Catholic Church possesses the answers to many historical and cultural questions Protestants may have. So instead of speculating about history, ask a Catholic. To be deep in history is to be Catholic. Please consider joining the Zell Challenge channel, and your comments are welcome. Blessings, brothers and sisters. Happy Easter.